All right.
Oh, yeah, you turn it on live as soon as I take a bite of my
I
waffle.
told you I was doing it now.
I
Oh,
know,
God.
but then it was okay. Fine.
Mom? It is you. I mean, if you've seen season 2 of Russian Doll, then it's not so weird.
I have not. I've been doing this stupid thing.
All right. Well, I'll talk about it very briefly in a non-spoiler way pretty soon here.
I'm just doing some ASMR waffle stuff right now.
It's not a spoiler. I the words of the things and the All right.
It's a pretty good waffle.
Good Lord. I don't.
I was a waffle once.
All right. I don't remember if there's a countdown to this. It's just the Two Boobs intro. So we're just going to play this.
Play it.
All right.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
This thing is amazing. You're going to love it. All right. And
From the creators of the video game podcast Famicom Dojo
They still make that?
and the enthusiastic support of the Nerd and Tie Network
Yeah, do whatever you want.
comes a podcast about the single most important question in human history.
What is the meaning of life?
Will I ever find love?
Can God create a rock so big even Pumpkin Man cannot
How
lift
can
it?
I find fulfillment?
What happens after you
Does this
die?
look infected to
Is there
you?
such a thing as karma or fate?
What is true? Have you guys seen my keys?
What should I be watching on TV?
Every episode of Two Boobs Watch the Tube, Vink and his best bra, Sean Orange, take a shallow dive into a current or retro TV show. Will they love it?
I guess.
Will they hate it?
No one-
Will they fight about it?
No one cares.
Did Sean even watch it?
No,
Is Vink still listening as Sean talks about Transformers?
definitely not.
These questions and more will be answered on
Two Boobs Watch the Tube.
That is a really loud
yeah,
intro.
So hello, welcome to Two Boobs Watch the Tube.
Hey!
It's just two white cis dudes.
Why is everybody leaving? Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I feel very honored to be the token cis guys.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I'm just saying. So like the rest of the Nerd and Tie crew is here. Like Trey's literally setting up for the next Nerd and Tie panel right after ours, as we're hanging out here live at No Brand Con 2022.
woo!
Hasselhoff is passed out like a dead body in the staff room. You know it's Saturday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right. So yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. How do we do this show? Which is it's pretty much how we start every show. So we got to stop saying that maybe.
Yep.
So what have you been watching, Vink?
What
Tell
have
me
I been
you
watching?
What you really watch.
I'll tell you what I watch. What I really watch.
You watch a.
And I. Oh, go ahead.
You're trying to do songs over international time delays.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, what are you watching?
I had some great television watching since the last time we've talked about Two Boobs. So this
5 minutes ago?
yeah, okay. I have watched all of Gravity Falls. And I'd only ever watched one episode before, like something from mid-season 1 on an airplane when I was flying to America the last time. Remember when you could fly to another country? And then actually
those
come
were the
back?
days.
Yeah, those were the days. But like I'd heard about it for a long time. It has a very good pedigree and things like that. But I hadn't had an opportunity to watch it until I got Disney Plus, and my kids were watching it, and I was kind of the kind of the dad thing, like you catch a little bit here, you catch a little bit there, and the first thing that struck me was this is really good. This is definitely better than most kids' television, and the time Series 2 started, I'm like, do not watch it without me. I need to be there.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's
How much of that show is there?
There's 2 seasons,
Okay.
but they were quite spread out, and so it's about 40 episodes total.
Oh, 40? That's not too bad.
It's not, and it concluded. It didn't get canceled. It just concluded. So,
Okay.
but I feel they could have pulled another season out of there. The last 3 episodes alone could have been a season. But
Okay.
yeah, you should watch it so we can talk about it on the show. It is fantastic.
All right. So it's been a while since we did an episode, right? So I've been
It has.
watching a lot of TV. I've watched all of Book of Boba Fett Season 2, Discovery Season 4, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel Season 4. Started on Moon Knight. I'm not quite caught up to it, but like the two... I have not watched Our Flag Means Death. I watched Doom Patrol Season 3. Boy, there's been a lot of stuff. But like, currently I'm in the throes of Picard Season 2 and the Halo series, which if you were listening to our Dojo podcast, we talked about a little bit. But I have some feelings about Paramount Plus in general, man, and Picard. But the one that I really enjoyed recently and was able to splurge through all of was Russian Doll Season 2,
Okay.
which took 4 years to come out between them planning the show and the freaking pandemic. Like, it's hard to
No,
believe it's been
series
that
one.
long.
Series 1 came out during the early days of the pandemic.
2018, I'm pretty sure.
No. That can't be.
No. Come on, 2019 at the latest. I'm looking this up now. Here's why I say that, because on that show, the title character Nadia is turning, it's her 36th birthday.
Yeah.
And when season 2 starts, it's her 40th. Or
February 2019. No way.
2019. Okay, so it was early 2019. So it's been 3 years.
Still, oh my. It's well. In a way, it feels like it was much shorter, and in a way, it feels like that was 30 years ago. So.
Right. So that's the only. I want to talk about that. We should talk about that show on this show.
Yes.
But just suffice to say, there's some stuff related to other time travel series that you may or may not have heard of that it reminds me quite a bit of. If you guys haven't seen the first season of Russian Doll, go watch that now. It's
No. Wait until we're done with this podcast.
No, yeah, not now. Yes, after the
Everyone pulls
after
out their
the podcast.
phone. They're like, "Oh, this is
It's-
great."
It's on Netflix. If
Yep.
if you've watched any shows about like Groundhog Day type time loops, this is one of those things. Although there've been a lot of movies and TV shows with that concept, pretty much contemporary with that first season and like in the year or two since, and
Yep.
I can't even list them all off. There was one on Apple TV Plus, was it? Oh boy. I didn't come prepared with a list of these shows, but you should watch
Okay.
all of them because they're all very interesting, but this is the one that I like the most. For reasons that once you watch it, it'll become apparent. But it's much less kid-friendly than, say, Groundhog Day.
Yeah. All right. Neat.
So what
But
are we
yeah,
talking about today?
We are going to, since we're at an anime convention, which people have told me is Japanese cartoons.
Don't call them cartoons. You're going to upset somebody.
I know. Sorry, animated graphic novels.
Yeah, okay, fair. I'll allow it.
We're going to talk about one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. Is Corfan here?
He is not. He's been on active on Facebook today, but he did not come.
What?
I know.
This panel was made for him. Plus,
I know.
plus my computer's currently being powered by his extension cord.
Oh. Man. So if you can't tell,
Long
there are
running.
some box sets behind you in your shot right now. If you're not
Ja-ja!
listening, watching the video version.
That's
a
right.
great question.
These
Are those the original?
They are.
Are those laser discs or are those?
These are laser discs. Hold on, I crack one.
Good lord. So for those who don't know, a brain spike is where you watch all of a series of anime in one shot. You don't.
Ooh, I got the
pause,
liner
you
notes
watch
in here.
all the intros, and if you pee, well, that's just your own fault. Subtitled, yes, so it was work.
Oh my goodness.
But we didn't.
So anyway, yeah,
All right, fair.
it's
All
on a
right,
whole
then.
it's on a whole bunch of laser discs.
Good lord.
But hey, I don't know, Trey, if you're going to remember this or not. But do you remember when we were watching in the Catherine Thomas dormitory? We were watching in like the little upstairs TV lounge, and there was like a Japanese exchange teacher who's like saw that we were watching that, and he was like, "Wow!" And he disappeared for a while, and he came back with a bunch of printouts of characters from the show, and he gave them to me.
And you have them still.
They are in the box set. I must have just filed them away. They're like low resolution printouts. Because he could, yeah. The Orange Road to Hell, yeah. Because we watched.
There was an upstairs KT TV lounge.
Is the lobby? It's just the lobby.
Oh my gosh.
And so
All
if there was anything going on in the downstairs lounge, we moved to the upstairs. So for those of you who are confused, which should be pretty much everyone,
You brave souls. What were you saying?
for those who are confused as to what we're talking about, the origin of No Brand Con comes from a organization that I guess I and like Kat and Meep made, which we called Otaku Anonymous, which was an unofficial anime fan club because we were too lazy to make anything official. And it was basically because I wanted to watch anime and I wanted to also be a bit social. And so the place that it took place was wherever I lived at the time.
Yeah. So then Trey got invited. And he invited me.
Mhm.
Sorry, they invited
And
me.
then we made a con, and you're at it.
Yep, and here we are together again. Yep, I
What?
almost bought one, and I really should have. I could have been waving it around right now.
But anyway,
He's not dead.
what we did at the club was most of the time we just met for a few hours, usually Friday night, which shows what kind of social animals we were.
No. That was a good time hanging out with friends, eating
Really
an
good.
entire cheese fries thing to myself. It was great.
Yup.
The smell of Vinks,
The smell of Vink.
Oh God. I forgot about that. Why would you tell me that?
Listen, it's because sense memory is very powerful, and that's just the most powerful sense that people have. So
Anyway,
sorry.
that's how everything started. But occasionally, we would go for much longer. I mean, the meetings usually went to last man standing. When we used to do it, they'd started around 6 or 7, and people would hang out. They'd bring food. We'd watch on a large rear projection television that we'd hook up a VCR or Laserdisc player to. Sometimes we played video games for a few hours first, and then we moved into whatever we were watching, and often it was just whatever anybody brought or whatever I had managed to buy or rent. And the first brain spike was we decided to watch all of Evangelion in one sitting. And we decided that would... Brain spike is a nicer way of saying another word that ends with that starts with brain. So, because that's what we thought was going to happen. And I remember I advertised it. I made flyers and I put it around, which brought no people.
That's all right. For those who don't
Yep.
know, Ava is 26 half-hour episodes, and then by the end, it messes with your brain directly, and not just because you've been watching it for 13 hours straight. I
If
don't
you're at an
know,
anime convention and you don't know what Evangelion is,
but the people watching this
I would like to
video
meet
might
you.
not know or listening to this podcast.
True.
That's what this is doing. That's what we're doing today.
exposing people to things that ruin their life is pretty much my cause for living.
Hey, so speaking of ruining lives, Kimagure Orange Road about Kasuga Kyosuke, 15 years old, and he is bad at relationships.
Kasuga Kyosuke, 15 歳. Yeah.
He's living the best days of his life.
He is living the best days of his life.
Just like John Mellencamp,
Indeed.
summer of '69. Nice.
UFO. Okay. Anyway, what is Kimagure Orange Road, or Core, as the Core fans call it?
Hardcore fans.
Indeed. It is an anime series from 1987, based on a manga from 1984. And so it is 80s in every possible way that it could be. It features aerobics, disco, just lots of the tropes of the economic bubble.
Dude, jazz. Don't forget the jazz.
Yep. And a dance club that says that they offer cheek time. It is amazing because it represents like the end of the bubble economy, which is even kind of like referred to sometimes in the show. It was during a time where TV anime was still something that was fairly mainstream. It wasn't kind of divided into children's anime that everybody watches, like Doraemon, and like the very hardcore otaku anime. It was back when anime was a little more universal. And yeah, what can we say? It's 48 episodes,
Gosh, I
which
guess.
is long.
Brain spike.
Yeah, the Orange Road to Hell was over 2 days, with like breaks in between to like, I don't know, clear one's mind. It was 48 episodes, and there was also a film that was released, and what else? Actually, two movies, two theatrical
Wasn't
movies.
Tiffany Grant did the dub of the film or something?
Kimagure Orange Road has the only piece of media that's been dubbed is the second movie, and yes,
The
she
second
was
movie.
one of the voices.
Okay.
But other than that, it's only been released in subtitled format, and right now, for a long time it was out of print because Anime Go, who released these box sets, which are some of the last Laserdiscs ever made as well,
Oh, wow.
had licensed the whole thing, and their license expired. And for a long time, there was no legal way to get it, but it's been re-released fairly recently by
There's a Blu-ray now, right?
Discotheque Media. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Kimagure Orange Road is considered like a classic for a lot of people who were into like the early releases of anime before it got super big. And I love it because in a way, like, it's very simple, but it's also fairly emotional, and it's also very fun. I don't know, I find that a lot of modern anime slots themselves into like they're very serious, or they're kind of a gag show, or it's an anime that had a premise the premise of the show is that the main character, Kasuga Kyosuke, is a high school freshman who has powers. They call him an Esper, like ESP-er, in the thing, and he has whatever power is needed to move the plot along for the episode.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
never
So
really established.
Telekinesis,
Yeah.
one of them,
Yep.
like mind reading,
Teleportation.
eventually time travel. You know.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And again, it's never truly explained very well. And like he and his two sisters have these powers. The dad apparently doesn't, so they must have come from the mother's side of the family.
Right.
It's never really explained.
And mom's
and it's-
gone because
yeah.
you know it's anime.
Well, yeah. You can't have both. You can't have both parents. I mean, come on. Yeah, if you're an anime character or a Disney character, sorry, you do not have two parents.
Oh God, what was the cat's name?
Jingoro, but Jinguro's not in the
Jingoro.
manga.
Oh,
Yeah, Jingoro was introduced to the anime series. Now, what's
Jinguro's
kind
like the Batgirl of Kimagure Orange Road.
of the but what's interesting is the anime series got kind of a better conclusion than the manga series got, because the manga series was canceled.
Oh,
But they actually had a little bit of time to finish it up when they were making with the movie and everything, which I still felt was a little abrupt, but yeah. So Kimagure Orange Road, I would liken to like contemporary series that were around that time, like Touch, or maybe a little bit of like Ranma 1/2 or something like that, which came a little later. But it's got kind of that kind of art style, which I just feel like the 80s anime art style, which is somewhat realistic. You know, characters in this show almost never go super deformed. They kind of keep a standardized art style, and I think it's, you know, there's definitely
it's a
corners
very
cut
80s
because
art
it's
style,
TV.
too.
Yeah. There's definitely corners cut because it's you know, it's not a high budget anime, but like for most of the story it tells, it doesn't need to be.
Right.
And what I like about it is it originally started as kind of like a gag manga, the gag being that it was kind of early harem manga, because you've got a guy who can't make the decision between the two main the two main love interest characters. And it was also that they had the supernatural elements, the gag, the powers. But as the show went on, the characters got a little more developed, and the powers became less important to the story. There were still episodes that had them, but you could go several episodes kind of forgetting that was even a part of it, because it became more about the relationships and trying to figure out, you know, balancing friendships and relationships within the main character. And I liked that because it didn't rely just on gags or gimmicks. It was also probably the first show that had a really, really strong, like the character Madoka, who like runs hot and cold. You know, like sometimes she's interested, most of the time she's blue.
Oh, hold on a second. Is that us? Is that on our side? Okay.
I don't
Sorry, there's just
hear
a lot of
anything.
audio interference over here. It cleared up.
Oh, okay. But yeah, what is that archetype character called? What is it, Sudade or something, or I don't know. Like the girl who like acts like totally uninterested, but deep down she has, you know, feelings or something like that.
Yeah, so like Madoka's whole thing is that she's like trying to be like a bad girl, but doesn't really not into it. You know, it's like a put on to like keep her distanced from people.
That's right.
And so Kasuga's trying to constantly break down that barrier, even though he's dating her best friend, who he kind of fell in with, and doesn't really like that much, and never has the cojones to break up with. And it's
Yeah.
cute until it becomes a problem.
Yeah, basically, and like the whole idea, like looking at it when I was younger, I kind of like it was like a problem that a lot of people wanted to have. You know, there's these two
Right.
girls very interested, but looking at it again, like rewatching it, I feel like was unfair to both of them in ways that
Absolutely.
like he's by trying to be the nice guy. It shows very much that he cares. He's a person who cares a lot, but by being nice, he's kind of the villain of the show.
Yeah, and if that's not made clear by the time you get to that second movie, it's pretty
Exactly.
freaking clear.
Oh yeah. Well, even in the first movie, you know, he there. I mean, I know a lot of people. Most people who watch this show are cheering for the relationship of Madoka and Kyosuke, which is the way the show is being set up. But when I'm watching it, you see the character Hikaru, who's the only one who really is true with her feelings throughout the whole thing.
Right.
And I feel so bad for her, especially in the second movie. Just so bad for her.
Like as you should. Like the like you were saying, like despite that Kyosuke is the protagonist, you cannot confuse protagonist with the good guy necessarily. And like as well as it depicted what it could be like growing up at that time and like having these problems and just not being able to express yourself, like the way that he behaved throughout the series was super damaging. And like it, you know, he's not able to juggle it forever.
Yep.
And he shouldn't have been doing it very much in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's a lesson that I hope more teenagers would be able to learn, right? Like
Oh yeah.
doing stuff that's hard is hard,
Yeah.
right? But it's important. Like if you really are a nice guy, then you really got to do the right thing and be like, I'm not that into you. I'm sorry.
But it also
you know, there's also a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of sympathy where it's like you start with good intentions and then you start snowballing it with lies and deception, and then it's like it gets too big to go back on.
But in that way,
He should have, but didn't until it gets too big.
Yeah. But in that way, it's fairly true to life, because I think that is how a 15-year-old thinks. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's definite times in my life and in my relationships when I thought I was doing the right thing, but in retrospect, I realized I was the bad guy, you know?
Right.
So, and I think I pronounced, what is it? Tsundere or whatever wrong. But anyway, I don't follow a lot of modern anime. It's kind of a newer term. Anyway, but it's a really interesting show. The title, Kimagure Orange Road, Kimagure meaning whimsical or indecisive. And I'm still not entirely sure where the Orange Road fits into this whole thing.
Yeah, because there's no Orange Road in the show.
No, there isn't. But like road can sometimes just mean, you know, just the path. And orange is used in a lot of anime titles and things like that, representing like freshness or things like that. I'm not sure if that's the origin of the whole thing, but I think it's just something that sounded cool, you know, like a lot of anime titles. I'd look into that, but yeah, it was an interesting show, and the author is famous for basically nothing else, which is very interesting. And basically didn't really do much after Orange Road, which is kind of unfortunate because it's, you know, one of my all-time favorites. Great music, And a
Love
lot
the
of
80s.
yeah, and a lot of what I learned about how like high schools in Japan, like how they're set up and things like that. I got to find out when I moved here and started teaching at high schools. Um, of course, a lot of it's fictionalized, but a lot of what's in that anime probably spoke to audiences of the '80s as either nostalgic for those who were outside of high school or something they could relate to for those who were in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in college when I watched this show, so I already gone through this. But
Yep.
I was also a late bloomer, so it felt like, okay, well, now I've had my high school experience I didn't have.
Well,
And I was the jerk.
yeah, I know. That's I can relate. Some of what he does seems so cringe when you watch it right now, but like I'm so were so many things of my life. So
Yeah, that's the
if I
thing.
watch it
is
now, it's kind of like a
super cringe.
yeah.
Super cringe.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it starts with a
but
meet cute,
yeah. So it was anyway. It was
basically.
48 episodes, and then there were. Oh yeah, yes it does. Yes it does. Where they're arguing over how many steps in
Yeah.
a staircase, whether it was 99 or 100. And they
Yeah.
resolved that it was 99 and a half so that they could be all cute.
And then from there, it just goes horribly
And then
wrong.
she gives him a straw hat. And yeah.
I just realized how much it reminds me of How I Met Your Mother. Just occurred to me.
That's, by the way, I'd like to talk about How I Met Your Father at some point.
Yeah, have you watched more of it?
Yeah, I'm up to like episode 10.
Oh, you're past me then. I stopped watching it. I better get back to that, huh?
Ooh. Anyway, we'll talk about
Okay,
about
all right.
that later. But yeah, there's a whole lot of it because it is set up originally that it's an older Kasuga talking about his memories
Okay.
because but
I didn't mean to make that comparison so direct, but here we go. Okay.
yeah, I mean the thing is it's really de-emphasized as the show goes on, but
Right.
he's kind of narrating his life at the beginning. He's like, and then I met,
Or like
So,
the Wonder Years, I guess probably
yeah.
would have been the comparison I would have made at the time I watched it.
Oh, definitely. And but the thing is, since it was set in contemporary times, it wasn't set in the past. The comparison kind of ends there. Oh, sorry, you just had a shocking revelation.
Yes, I had a shocking revelation about the Wonder Years. So, like, all right,
Yeah.
that show ends, spoilers,
Yeah,
where he doesn't get together with Winnie.
that's right.
And people were upset about that. But if you
Yeah.
actually watch that show and pay attention, she is not that into him.
No,
He does
at
all
no
these
point
weird,
really.
creepy things to like get into her life.
Yep.
Just because they kissed once over someone because she was sad that her brother died. And he
Yep.
won't let it go for the rest of their school career.
Yep. And I,
Wonder
and I,
Years is not
yeah.
a these shows are very much the same show.
In a way, yeah,
Poor Winnie Cooper.
indeed,
Poor Hikaru.
yeah. But along the way, they're going to have a lot of madcap adventures. There's a really funny cast of supporting characters. The sisters are hilarious.
You know,
Kasuga
Always.
Kyosuke's friends who are always chasing after his sisters, who he has to protect. And like other
they
than
can
in the
protect themselves. They're fine.
well, yeah. Other than the relationship portions of the show, which admittedly is a lot of them, Kasuga Kyosuke is definitely a hero character. He helps a lot of other people. He
Right.
really, he's very devoted to his family, and he's trying his best to be a good person. It's just he's not very good at it. Yeah. Boy Meets World is better than The Wonder Years. Whoa. Oh, A&W. You can get A&W in Japan, but it's very rare. So I save them for important occasions like this podcast.
Aw,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Yes. And I wanna get myself back in that whole Wisconsin mode. If only I had some fried cheese curds here. Oh, that'd be great.
I, I don't have it because it had been on YouTube and then I took it down because I was either afraid of a copyright strike or I
Yeah.
got one. I can't remember what the deal was, but like when I went to Japan in 2003 because I am
Yep.
Sean Orange, I cut together a whole like intro to my adventures in Japan
Yeah.
to the theme song from Orange Road. And
Nice.
it was a lot of fun to do. I cut my
Yeah.
teeth on a lot of editing stuff that way. So maybe I'll find a place I can put it where I feel less worried about it. So I'll drop the link in the Discord at some point. Or I might link it in the notes for this video here, or the show notes on the website. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to even play it here because I don't want to have this video live video get hit with a strike either.
But
Yeah, that intro is wild, and I will watch it every time, which is why when we watched it during the Brain Spike, I never got sick of it.
yeah, I think we watched through the entire series of Orange Road at least twice, possibly 3 times over the course of that club.
Yeah.
And I think it's really it's one of the Brain Spikes that people really liked a lot. I tried to do all of Sakura Wars anime and games as a Brain Spike, but that just turned people to heavy drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where my name got changed to Drink rather than Vink.
Oh no.
That's actually where Galleon's like other alias came from, Kieran Lemon, which is the name of an alcoholic beverage.
I should have known that. I don't think I did know that, but now I know that.
Something
that-
like that.
that
I
could
don't
be.
know. I don't know. That was
I have a Pepsi
that,
Blue review on YouTube. They remade it. Now, never mind. We're getting way far afield.
Pepsi Blue.
Let's talk about Pepsi Blue.
Pepsi Blue tastes like if you took a blue slush puppy and a Pepsi and poured them down your back and drank it out of your butt.
Hey, don't you dare insult Crystal Pepsi in my presence, sir. So did I. Yeah. I'm still saving my last 20 ounce from 2017 for a special occasion. Yeah. All right. I don't know. What more can we say about this show that hasn't been said already? I think it is worth watching despite how it ends. It's kind of like that Mitch Hedberg joke about like, you know, why would you eat an apple? Because it's going to become a core? You still got to enjoy the experience.
Core, K-O-R,
I told-
Kimagure Orange Road.
Ah, there we go.
Tie it together.
That's like the second like Mitch Hedberg reference I've made in a quasi-public setting in the last 2 days. What is wrong with me?
No idea.
I mentioned it in a work meeting.
Anyway,
It was important. Anyway.
I think if you're going to watch the show, you should watch it on Laserdisc.
Okay. Oh, that's a good topic to bring up. So,
Yeah.
I got the Anime Ego DVD box
Yep. Okay.
because I could have gotten it on Laserdisc, but I was really interested in the DVD set. So,
Yeah.
like you said, they had the license and they did this whole printing, and I think I got in on what would have been like a Kickstarter. It was a pre-order situation,
Yeah.
basically. But then everyone got it, and there was a big problem because in order to save space and maximize quality, they decided to put the intro onto some separate video track. So it was
That's
like
right.
the special features basically, and they cut it
Yep.
off the beginning of every episode. So if you wanted to watch the intro, you had to like go find it and then
Yep.
watch it. Like I think maybe like the disc started with that intro, and then you didn't really watch it with the episodes, and that ruined the Brain Spike experience. Now, it wasn't just us. Like so many people who got that set complained that they actually reprinted DVDs and sent them out to anyone who ordered that set, and
That's
offered
right.
to replace them. And I took them up on that.
Yep.
And that was a wild thing to do because, you know, DVDs aren't expensive, but they're not like non-zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention the work it took to like remaster them. And like, it did slightly lower the quality of the end product, but you probably really couldn't tell, to be perfectly honest.
I mean,
But yeah,
I
that
think
was a
that
whole thing.
I mean, I love the opening and ending songs from episodes of Kimagure Orange Road.
Yeah.
They every single opening was awesome,
Yep.
and even when we were marathoning them, it was considered blasphemous to skip them
Absolutely.
each time. I still remember my first watch through. I was really getting into it, and I was watching it with my friend Nathan, and the first time watching it, and I skipped the opening when we were watching, like, I don't know, episode 12 or something, and I'm like, we'll watch it next time through. But then they changed the opening in the next episode, and he still reminds me that I skipped it, which is a very small thing, but it comes up. It occasionally comes up.
You talked to Nathan?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God. Okay. For some reason, I had the impression you hadn't talked to him in years, but all right.
I
That's
went.
cool.
I was a groomsman at his wedding about 3 years ago. Remember, I went back.
Okay.
Remember, I went back for his wedding, and then we filmed some stuff. That's where we filmed the Out of This World
I
stuff.
forgot that was his wedding. Okay.
Yeah, that was his wedding.
Pre-COVID, like time is just isn't real anymore.
The
right.
show was only ever released as a subbed version.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no dub of the series except for the second movie, but because nothing else had ever been dubbed, and I'd watched it after watching the show, it was bizarre to me to watch the English dub.
Sure.
But like, it's not a bad dub. It's not a bad dub at all. ADV was doing very good dubs at that time, but I'll watch that some. It would be great if someone did a dub of it. I like good quality dubs, but
Yeah,
I don't think enough people are interested in the show. Yeah.
Like, despite maybe because of like the special powers and stuff,
Sure.
it otherwise is a really nice window into like, you know, what teenage life was in Japan in the 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah, very much so.
And so if you're interested in that kind of thing as like a anthropological
Yeah.
capsule, it's pretty good for that, I think.
Yeah, they bring up things like when he's time traveling once, he tries to pay for something with a 500 yen coin, and they mention, oh, those don't exist yet. So he had he needed a Doc Brown on that one with his case of different monies. Yeah.
That reminds me how like the first episode of Doctor Who, like Susan mentions how like
Yeah.
England goes to the decimal system for the pound, which
Yep.
at the time of the filming and airing didn't exist yet.
Exactly. It's really neat. But yeah, it shows kind of like a pre-internet Japan, which I think is really, really interesting. Like how people used to spend time, how people would hang out, what kind of the underground things were, and it's just very interesting. The hairstyles. I quite like the
God.
hairstyles.
Yeah, the animation style for that
Oh,
time
yeah.
period captures those.
I have I should have prepared it for this. I'm not going to try to fetch it right now.
Well, I mean,
but
there's hair behind you.
no, but I have an actual animation cell from this
Oh.
show.
They
It's the
animate the
only.
hair separately, like the flowing and the. I don't have the flowing locks anymore. I can't
It is-
do it.
It is of Hikaru, And yeah, the hair is its own, is kind of a separate piece.
That's wild.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll bring it to a future episode later sometime.
Okay.
So it's back there somewhere. I don't collect animation cells as a general thing, but I saw it, and again, Kimagure Orange Road is my favorite anime.
Yeah, do they, Eric's wondering if they draw them bald then?
Nope, this is the top of the head.
Okay, sure. All right.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it's its own layer. Perhaps it was in mid like hair fling or something, so they could recycle the face. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, yep. All right, well, I mean, since we got a question coming in, Pikachu, I need, oh, there's 2 Pikachus. Yo, Pikachu, someone get their picture so we can put it up over the water and be like, you need to drink some water. No one? All right, well, anyway, it's a long story. Anyway, so since we have some audience questions, and we are going to run out of time pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Any last thoughts before we take them from the audience and from the chat?
I would just say that now that it's been re-released, and who knows for how long, that's the problem with anime licenses for some of these obscure things. If you have the opportunity to pick up the box set, I don't think it's streaming anywhere, unfortunately.
Right.
So it is streaming on Netflix in Japan, but only with Japanese and no subtitles. So even if you could VPN it, you would, unless you speak Japanese, you wouldn't be able to do it. But find a way to watch it, and if you're not like invested in it after about 4 or 5 episodes, whatever. But I think a lot of you will find that it's really refreshing anime and one that you can intensely rewatch.
All right, so on to viewers like you. Do we have any questions from the audience about this show's, other shows we've talked about, things that we mentioned?
Oh, Noel Comics has said that it's on Retro Crush and Pluto TV in the U.S.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
there you go.
Okay. Awesome.
And
All right, Eric
Satoshi
was gonna
says,
ask a
I will watch the first episode and post my initial impressions and thoughts in the Discord. So yeah, join our Discord.
Yep, there's a link in the chat right now, and I can leave one in the description for later. So it's
Sorry, I interrupted a question.
through the chat. So yeah. There is a new Wonder Years, isn't there? And it takes
There's a
place
new
in the
Wonder Years?
80s? Yeah.
I will watch that.
Did I watch an episode yet? I knew that they were making it, but I don't know if I've ever watched an episode of it yet. Yeah, so like, is it the 80s or is it, I don't remember. Okay. Because
Interesting.
like, it's also in the 60s? 70s? Okay, yeah, because like the difference was like that show aired in like the late 80s, the original did, and so it was like 20 years prior, so it was like boomer nostalgia, right? Or Gen X nostalgia? Boomer nostalgia.
Something like that.
Yeah, like late boomer nostalgia. And Back to the Future is a lot the same way, I guess, right? Like those Gen Xers, like figuring out who their parents were. So it's weird that like I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the early aughts. I don't know who does, but except for Lindsay Ellis, but that's because Axiom Zen's a great book. But apart from that, yeah, I guess you have to go back farther. What are you
All right.
gonna do? All right. It is in the 60s. Okay, so yeah, no comics is saying it is from a black family's perspective.
Oh, okay. I was really excited about an 80s one. That's my
What am I
nostalgia.
thinking of? There's something that takes place in the 80s. I don't know.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things, yeah. Season 4 of Stranger Things is coming out, which is the last season? I think it's... Who knows? Robert Englund's in it, apparently.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pandemics do things, especially the kids.
Anyway,
What's that? Cartoon remakes. You're doing Rescue Rangers? Wow. Oh, there's that Rescue Rangers movie that's coming out. Is that what you're talking about?
why? The Goldbergs.
There's this whole movie that's like ostensibly a Rescue Rangers movie, but it's just Disney IP soup, and I'm not here for it at all. Yeah, it's like the new Space Jam got remade. Yeah,
Raw tunage.
raw tunage. Oh God. We're just gonna take clips from other podcasts and throw them together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want to spend the time doing that, go for it.
I'm worried that they're going to make Gadget not sexy enough.
Oh, God, I don't know. That was a literal complaint.
I know about the new Space Jam.
That's Space Jam.
You know what? I'm guessing that the studio itself started that complaint so we'd be able to overlook all the other problems with that whole movie.
I didn't see it. I got like a graphic novelization of it, like a comic book type thing. It was
The original Space Jam had Doctor Who references.
See, I don't think I ever saw
The aliens came to see the aliens came incognito to watch a basketball game, and they were dressed as Tom Baker, complete with long scarf.
That reminds me of the Good Omens show we did, and like the
Oh, yeah.
aliens were Daleks you mentioned in the book, but not in.
Yep.
Go listen to our Good Omens episode after you listen to this one. It's
Go
good.
listen to all of our episodes.
Oh no, especially
All of
the Quantum Leap one. So Miles came up to me.
Okay.
First of all, he told me that he was going to give me the Sam Beckett Never Returned Home T-shirt.
Yep.
But after he mentioned that, he says that, by the way, I have that episode of the podcast queued up to the part where you're like, Sean, are you crying?
You kind of were, man.
I'm not embarrassed. Good show.
I need to keep watching it. I fell off the wagon.
Yeah, Quantum Leap is no longer on NBC, at least last I checked, because I was going to try and get Phil Bond to watch it. And so, yeah, I'll just have to buy the Blu-ray, assuming you can find it. Good Lord. Show off.
Quantum Leap. Yeah.
So if you... Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. You know you love your Quantum Leaps.
Quantum leaping through the universe. I don't know. It's something like that, right? I think that's how it goes. It's been so long, I can't remember. Oh, God.
Ziggy, you thought he was a dude, but he's actually a woman. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Okay.
That's on the longer version.
Do we have any questions from the chat or the audience? Want to ask us anything about TV? An Orange Road? I felt like the animation changed quite a bit.
The first movie, I Want to Return to That Day, looks very, very much like an extended episode of the TV series. The animation quality has been bumped a little bit, but it's bumped to kind of the level of the OAVs. But the second movie was done by a different studio, and it was a much higher budget affair, and has one of my favorite anime soundtracks of all time. I felt that the movie wasn't. It's not my favorite anime movie. It's fine. It's a good movie. It's a good conclusion. It got sexier than I would assumed it would have gotten for that show.
Oh,
Like,
no.
like
They're adults by this point. They're not teenagers. They're not
I
in high school
understand.
anymore. They're adults. It's the future. It's fine.
Oh, I understand. I'm and my kids have watched the TV series of Orange Road, and they enjoyed it, but I won't let them watch the movie
Fair enough.
because it's not really appropriate for them. But the movie had the most amazing soundtrack, and the track is a piano piece called Kyosuke Number 1. I played at my wedding, and my friend Nathan, who I was a groomsman for, also played it at his wedding.
All right, I'm not going to get into the OAV versus OVA thing, except to say that Satoshi, you're wrong. Okay, anyway, we have another panel starting in this room. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we got 5 minutes left. Yeah, just like Kyosuke would. Anyway, that's what he's known for.
Who's
that's
murdering
what
us?
they do.
Who's murdering us with his mind?
Trey, because we got to wrap up so he can do his podcast next. But thank you so much for listening and watching. We don't have an outro because we just play one. In fact, I'll play it right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I have it.
Okay.
Cross promo. Yeah.
Cross promo.
Yep, here it goes. All right, so see, I'm not even supposed to sign up. I'm supposed to play it. So play it.
Thank you for making it to the end of another episode of Two Boobs Watch the Tube. If you would like to support these boobs, please subscribe, like us on iTunes, and tell a friend. If you want to give us a big push up, donate to the Famicom Dojo Patreon, found in the show notes. There you can also find info about sponsoring an episode, and also info about the other great shows, and one bad one, on the Nerd and Tie Network. Until next time, keep it classy.
Which one's the bad one? Yeah, my video's gone. All right, I got to stop this.
Oh, okay. Am I